Hi, nice to see you, everybody. I'm just going to check with my team if we're already live so we can go. Perfect. So without further ado, we are live and let's start. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first Emerge Live. I'm Valerie, Chief Producer of Emerge Tech Conference. And here with me today, I have my great guests. It's Anna Bulgakova. She's a co-founder of VOCHI that was acquired by Pinterest. And now she's a product lead at Pinterest. And Greg Tkachenko, founder of AI Factory, acquired by Snapchat. And now he's Senior Engineering Manager at Snapchat. We are happy to see you all on this busy Monday. Mondays are usually really, really busy. And thank you so much for finding time to meet with us and join our discussion. And we're going to talk about a serious topic that's really interesting for our audience. It's your experience of acquisition by global brands. But before we start, I just need like a couple minutes to say a couple words about our live format and how it's going to go. We have 30 minutes session today. And the first 20 minutes, we will be talking to you, and I'll be talking to Anya and Greg about their experience. And then the last 10 minutes, we will have a chance to answer the questions from the audience. And guys who are with us here in this live, I know that you want and you're eager to talk and to discuss, but please leave the questions the last part of the discussion. And if you want to ask something, you can also join our live at the YouTube channel and leave the comments or questions in the chat area. And of course, there is a tricky thing. If your question is the best and the favorite for us, we will give the free ticket to Emerge Conference in Istanbul for the October event that we are going to have there. And of course, we will be having this talk on our YouTube channel platform, and also the audio version will be on our Telegram channel. So you will be able to rewatch it if you want. And without further ado, I'd like to start with the most important questions of our discussion. We are now going to the most interesting part. Hi, guys. I was just going to say, do you have any words to say before we start?
No, thanks for having us here.
Perfect. Then my first question will be: Did you ever have a dream of being acquired by a bigger brand? I think this is the question that's interesting to everybody. Anna, if you want to start, ladies first.
Thank you. Sure. Yeah, and just a small correction. It's Anna Buglakova, but yeah, it's very usual misspelling, so don't worry. So about us being acquired, I'd say it never was like a goal itself, but it was one of possibilities that we considered and like one of future scenarios. We started our company like as a consumer company, and we started to build like business for users and like building products for users. And we actually were on a pretty good traction of being like profitable and everything. But of course, as one of our future scenarios, we considered that potentially we will, kind of want to make this leap and jump from like first to 50th floor and start to build not for like million users, but for hundreds of million. So I'd say it never was a goal, but of course, this possibility seems very sweet and dreamy. So yeah.
So basically, it was like a happy match with you and Pinterest, if I'm being correct.
So I would say like it's a bit more complex than just a happy match, but we were on that stage of our growth and our like product when we needed to grow like even more and make like bigger steps. But at the same time, like kind of markets changed a lot for startups and for products, and Apple introduced their new regulations, and we were understanding that like in future, it will be much more difficult to acquire users for the same price. It potentially might be more difficult to, like acquire new investment rounds. And we started to consider like the opportunity to be in, to make our business acquirers. And at the same time, actually, like market was pretty good, and Pinterest were also chasing like new strategy. And when we just started to consider it, and we had our first board meeting discussing like this new direction, we got an email from Pinterest business development department, and we were thinking that they just want to have like some kind of integration, or I don't know, like partnerships, or maybe like CastDev us for some new features, but actually they were looking for such a company as we were. They were looking for a company who worked on video editing and like providing creators with new tools, maybe with new smarter tools, with new tools which can bring like better quality of the result. And yeah, it actually was like a perfect moment, because we started to think about it, and we started like seriously consider this opportunity. And just the same time, like they came to us and started the discussion. And our whole story was very fast. We had a term sheet, I'd say like in a month, and after 3 months we closed the deal. So yeah, it was like perfect timing.
So, Greg, what about you? I know that your story differs a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, essentially, I think it would be nice to say about the product that we're building, so that everyone can understand what was this product about. Essentially, we built some sort of like the product close to Reface. If you're familiar with this product, essentially you take a selfie and then create a bunch of content with your face. Your face is being animated, like eyes are blinking and things like that. And essentially, we were not very. I think we were like pretty much building the company so that it will be for the acquisition from the day one, because for the products like this, it's like really hard to sustain like long term as like as a separate business, and honestly, it's I think the best strategy for that kind of stuff is to find the right time to be integrated to the big platform, and also be lucky about the overall like market conditions, and essentially to sell when people are speaking about your product. So yeah, we've been building this strategy from day one.
Sounds nice. And these are two really different strategies, but they are both bringing you to the goal that you now have. I have one more like question that I'm interested in. Did you you have different stories, but still, did you have any special requirements for the potential acquiring partner? Because I mean, apart from them having money, there are different ways that you can build this deal, and maybe it's important to have a special partner for this part.
Yeah, I can go. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. Yeah, I can start here. I'd say like we were really like centered around our product, and we were really like inspired by the value we want to bring into the market. And when we started this communication with Pinterest, I would say like one of this, like big arguments was that they really wanted to hit the same goal as we were. They also wanted to improve like creators' experience and to make some high-tech tools for content creation, and they were focused around video, and they were going to solve this problem around video for their creators. So I'd say for us, it was like a very pleasant bonus that we can still be in the same field and still use our expertise to solve like very familiar for us problems of users, but solve it for like a bigger audience and for like a bigger company.
Greg?
Yeah, I think like generally speaking, since we were building that kind of strategy from the day one, we were trying to see what could be the like potential like acquirers the very beginning of the startup. So and I think we generally try to evaluate like two different directions. One is the like product fit, just to see if our idea like works well in the potential like acquire, and what it can bring to that company in terms of like engagement, new users, potential revenue. This is the first thing. The second is, I think, a purely technical limitations, because it's actually like really critical to understand how you will be integrating your product into that, into the existing large ecosystem, because first, it's just like not easy. Second, it's something that you should be thinking from the beginning in terms of like potential like app size impact, potential like speed, and other like, technical stuff. And also we've done like some tricks, if you want. For example, we run the office in the same building as like Snapchat, so that they can like feel that we're almost the same boat already. So it's just like the question of just like signing some papers. And it's funny, I think like today I've read some tweet from it was like the email from 2006 sent by Larry Page about YouTube acquisition. And in that email, he I think one of his execs mentioned that those guys are just living close by, so that's the chat with them. So I would not. Those are like things that can just increase your chances to be acquired. Yeah, and also we've done a lot of like custom stuff for the potential acquirers, like building some prototypes to show them how our product can look like within their product. So yeah, we've done a lot of that kind of stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
maybe I will add here a bit. It's very interesting what Greg is talking about, because like kind of being not invisible for a potential acquirer is the key here. Like you need to find a way to be noticed. And with VOCHI, we didn't have like this in mind, like before the acquisition, and we were not setting ourselves like a goal to be noticed by bigger companies, but it actually happened. So when we started to grow, we kind of hit US App Store ratings, and then like the market cooled down because of the new regulations, but we still like kind of kept spending like a lot and kept being on the first positions. And we heard this rumor then that BD, who actually suggested our company to consider, they saw our ad on Facebook, which was pretty impressive and like kind of shiny, and showing us from the best size. And that's why we kind of got in that list for consideration. And it's pretty funny, like we never thought about it this way, but of course in future, if I will start to build our company, I will think about it like a couple of times.
Thank you. It's a really interesting hint, like rent an office and make a shiny Facebook ads. Guys, keep it in mind when you plan an exit. But of course, this is like just one small part. And I would like to ask you if you remember what was the breakthrough moments that led to the exit, like when you understood, like, yeah, it's happening. Greg, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, essentially, I think we have just maybe a couple of those. I think the first one is just when we understood that the product actually works, and the way how we did that, we just iterated a lot on the quality, just like we were showing that like to people. I was literally like walking in the shopping malls in the US, like giving the app to random people and just seeing their reaction. So once we got that crazy reaction from people that they're just asking what's the name of the app, how we can get it, and things like that, then at that moment we understood that essentially we got it from the product perspective. And then the second, I think, moment is when we successfully integrated the our tech inside Snap. So we did the like pilot integration, and I think that was also like very big moment for us, because we actually proved that we can be part of that like large ecosystem.
Anna, what about you?
It's an interesting question. I would say like this moment when we had one of those, like brainstorms with Pinterest, which were like before they made an offer, when we brainstormed, like the idea of how can we help them, like better solve for their creators. And it was pretty interesting because we kind of felt this match, like that we were on the same page and we were kind of thinking about like same directions and same ideas, but maybe a bit differently. Yeah, but like in our scenario, it was so fast, like from the first communication to the actual offer, that I'd say I realized that we actually sold the company maybe several months later, and when we were already working at Pinterest. So yeah, it was pretty hard to digest at first. But I can say what I feel, what was like a breakthrough moment for us as a company, which was ready to be acquired by someone. It was when we actually hit our like first million monthly active users, and at the same time we had a big I would say like trend. We were on a big trend on TikTok. One of our video efforts went viral, and we were like everywhere, like in different media and in, like in Instagrams and TikToks of big influencers who create content. So I'd say like it also played like on our part of the field when like the discussions about the acquisition started. So yeah.
Thank you for the answers. Anna, you brought up an interesting topic that it all happened so fast that you didn't even have time like to realize at some moment. And I think it's the part of the challenge that the founder gets into when he starts this process. Maybe you can share other challenges that you had as a founder before acquisition. Like what did you had to deal with? Like it might be emotional something, or I don't know what you have in mind.
So like I would say the biggest challenge for us from the very beginning was to find focus, like to understand like what what goal we need to chase, like at the time of at this period of time. So when we started, we had like some kind of strategy for the product. There were a lot of questions there. We needed to test a lot. And we kind of spent like a year chasing different shiny opportunities without, like a dedicated focus to one goal. And in these cases, you need to be very realistic about the actual capacity of your team. When your team, like of 20 or 30 or even 50 people, you can chase like 5 goals at a time. And I'd say like one of the biggest leaps in our development was when we actually set one goal for the quarter and started to go, like with this kind of plan. And we actually made like very big, we actually hit, we actually over, how to say, or came at like 1.5 time. So then it was, and we got like a lot of users, a lot of revenue, and the whole team was thinking how to solve this, how to actually achieve it. Yeah, and I'd say like it was the first big challenge to find focus. When we found it, like game was changed. And the second it was for our startup is how to accelerate growth. So we kind of were thinking that we need to find, like great people who will do it for us. We were betting on hiring like great head of marketing who will come and, build the team and build the actual traction there. And we spent some time trying to find this person. And also one of these game changers was when we decided that we need to do it internally, even if we don't have like real expertise here. Yeah, so when we started to do it internally and when we started to understand how it works, it was much easier for us to hire. We actually started to grow and stopped procrastination around growth. So yeah.
Thank you for this answer, Greg. I would like to hear your version of the challenges that you got on the founder's way to the acquisition.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, and by the way, everything that I say is just like purely my opinion, nothing to do with other founders and Snapchat. I pretty much relate to everything what Anna just said. I think it's just. I mean, I think yeah, you do have like this like challenges with the business as every other startup does. I think for us the biggest challenge honestly was just that this negotiation process, conversation process with different potential acquirers took significant time, and it was very tough emotionally, and we just like and physically as well. We just like worked a lot. It was, I think, the most intense period of my life in terms of work hours. So yeah, and I think this was the biggest challenge on top of what Anna just said, and also I can just add like really quickly the one which happened right before the acquisition. I think it's really important to make sure you integrate it well into the new company, and sometimes it's not like easy, especially if your team has like mostly Eastern European background. It might be challenging, and you actually have to set a goal to integrate like in a healthy way to the whole like company, which can also help you like long term. For example, if you integrate it like very deeply in the company, when those companies have crisis or tough periods, you have like less chances of being reduced and things like that.
That sounds like an important learning that you got from the process of acquisition. Maybe you can share other important lessons that you got from the working with such a big company and integrating in it.
Yeah, I can start if Anna doesn't mind. Essentially, I think like working in consumer products almost my whole life, I think I got the like one takeaway that your product should be simple, should be easy to understand, and this is, I think, we had to pivot a few times. We had to like close our peers like startups. We had to rework our products to make them simple, and in consumer products, like people have such a small like time to understand your product. They don't like super interested to spend a lot of time. So you have to like focus on just bringing that like simplicity in all the stages of your product, starting from the messaging when you advertise a product, and just ending with like onboarding flow and things like that. And second, yeah, I just want to, I think, echo what Anna said about focus. I think this is super important, and usually like strategy is a sacrifice. You have to say no to a lot of stuff that you love, and that is, I think, the really important.
Anna, would you like to add something here?
Yeah, maybe to add, maybe I will talk about the period like before acquisition, because I was like, it's two different worlds. But from startup world, what I've learned is that it's pretty obvious actually, but you never think about it too much. But your team is the most important asset on your startup path, because if you are not surrounded by like dedicated and hardworking people, your road will be full of bumps, and it will be very difficult to go through. It will be very exhausting. But at the same time, if you have like a really passionate team and you have partners with whom you're on the same page, it will be much more enjoyable. Of course, challenging, but these challenges you will be able to overcome, because after what we had with VOCHI, I actually believe that most of what we were able to achieve were because of our very, very passionate team, and because of the support of each team member there. And I feel like the second thing is what I learned from our work and communication with, for example, VCs and other startups and big companies, is that you should be very real about yourself, not knowing everything, and you should be kind of hungry for like new knowledge which those partners can provide. And I've seen like different startups, and I'm very happy that we were hungry and we were actually like very okay with maybe sometimes seem dumb and asking dumb questions, but it's actually something that helped us to move forward. And I've seen like different startups, and I've seen like founders who believe that they don't need advices from VCs and they don't need like to connect with the people in the same area. And this is something which disturbs me every time I hear these stories or like these assumptions. So yeah, I'd say two things is team and like being very questioning and feeling yourself not knowing everything is very important when you're building something.
I would add to this point that I think that networking with everybody on your way is also really important, because you never know where you can gain some new possibilities or new knowledges, and where you can ask for help or ask for answers that you don't know. And this is where my next question comes from. I'm interested to know if you think that there are different types of startup conferences or startup competitions. Do you think they help or contribute to founders' fundraising skills? Like, is it important to visit this type of things and maybe pitch a different pitch competitions?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think pitching is a skill you can improve, and you can improve it by pitching and then just watching yourself. How do you do this? It's actually the last part. I think the most important. A lot of people just like practice without like proper postmortems. So I think it's just nice to be disciplined on the way how you improve that skill.
I maybe add here, like, so we started, like with highlighting how it's important to be actually visible, like visible for your potential buyer, and also not just being visible because you attend, like this kind of conference, but also you build network in which you can have like some collaborators on your path, some people who will help you connect with people inside the company, so who will introduce you or who will just share their knowledge or their experience. And of course, like it's never enough to train your pitching and it's never enough to train, how do you explain your product, how people understand your product. So yeah, I would say like it's very important to put yourself out of the box and to be exposed to the world and to be exposed to the community. Yeah.
So as we came to the part of the advices that we have to the startups, I would like to ask you to give one most important advice that you have for the new coming early stage or not even early stage tech startups that are looking for investors or looking for potential partners to merge with. Just one thing that you think is like crucial.
I think it's important to like separate like facts and opinions. So you will meet a lot of people along the way who will be obsessed to give you some advice, to give some opinion, and I think unless the facts are clear, I think it's important to be brave enough to listen to your inner self and make your own mistakes, because either way you're going to benefit. If you get to be like successful, you will know that this is because of your decisions, or otherwise it's if it's not successable, then you know that this is not because of someone else like giving some directions. Yeah, I think that would be my advice.
I feel like as a founder, what is crucial for you is to like, it's actually your attitude, like how you're how you care about your final result, and what you personally kind of eager to do to make it. Because I'd say like it's not enough to hire just like a bunch of brilliant people. You need to leave the goals and take problems into your hands when it's needed, and be a great facilitator and teammate for like your team, to actually like create something big and create like people around you who will live the same values. And I know that you asked about one, but as a product person, I can't, like not talk about it. But you need to be obsessed with the idea to bring value to your user or customer. And you need to be like eager to listen to their bad feedbacks and to see where they're struggling, and to actually think every day, how can you make their life better? Because like at the end of the day, of course, like companies, like there are a lot of stories when big companies, they buy like teams, but I want to believe that they buy teams which actually bring value and do something like meaningful for the world. So yeah, please be obsessed with your products and with bringing value to your users and customers. And anyways, you will make someone's life better.
I totally agree on that one. Obsession is the best way to succession. I'm 100%, I'm with you. So I would like to thank you, first of all, so much for this short but insightful talk that we had. It's already like 30 minutes, and we have like a couple minutes for the questions. And I'm sure that everybody has a lot of useful insights from this conversation. But we have like one thing that we have to ask from our audience. Here is the question that we have. Startups often face the dilemma of choosing between multiple acquisitions offers from international tech companies. And how do you think, what criteria or considerations you should use to evaluate and select the best fit for your startup's vision and values beyond just financial consideration? I think we already touched it a little bit, but I think you have something to add here.
Maybe I can start, but I will just share what we took into consideration when we also thought about like different opportunities. So with Pinterest, we had like the best offer in terms of how many people they will hire from the team, and how, like holistic the team will stay. So it wasn't just about like acquiring our engineers. It was about like the whole engineering product design team. So the team could stay together and work in the same process, and with the same contact that they were before. And of course, like how our team will benefit from it, not only founders or investors.
Greg, what about you?
Yeah, I think yeah. First of all, it sounds like a nice problem to have. I think second, is just important to understand in general if the timing is right for the acquisition, and by timing I mean not just the market conditions, but also the state of the business, the projections and things like that. So maybe you should just consider just be very be very rational about the the next steps for your business, and generally I do feel that you shouldn't be very like snobbish about the price, arrogant about the price. If you feel that this is just the right moment for the business, people are, for example, like if the runway is low, or like people are not like that excited, then maybe it's the right time to get acquired. And in terms of criteria, I think it's like super. It's like it depends on your specific case, but generally speaking, I feel while you're chatting with potential acquirers, you just have to understand specifically how do they envision the integration of your company to their company, and just find the best option for your specific scenario. Just, I think asking questions is always free, so you can ask those questions and discuss how do you envision the integration moving forward.
Thank you for your answers. We have like 2 tiny questions left, and I think around 5 minutes. If you don't mind, I will just throw it onto you. How did the integration go? First of all, from the point of view of the corporate culture? Greg already started talking about this, but maybe you could dive a little bit more deeper into it. Were there any difficulties, or did everything go easy and smoothly?
No, it was a bumpy road. Like generally, I think it's yeah. First of all, obviously, like switching from the startup culture to big tech culture is this thing that you get used to like during like some time. I think the most important thing for us when we were integrating into the culture of Snapchat was that we tried to be part of like every like internal like forum, internal like meetings, try to chat with a lot of people from different departments, just adopt their practices. So essentially we really like tried to work really hard to adopt the best practices from the company to our like internal org and make sure that we have this a level of tech excellence, of operational excellence at the same sort of bar or above that that the company is sort of get used to. So yeah, I think it's just like dedicated effort, and you should be very focused on trying to just make sure that you adopt the practices from the company within your work.
Thank you, Greg. About you, Anna.
I can support like every point that Greg just mentioned. It isn't, like a fairy tale and a very easy way when you're integrating. It's very different, and sometimes it's very confusing, and sometimes it's very challenging. So I want to be real about this, but it can be rewarding at the same time. And what we've done, like after half a year at Pinterest, we actually decided to change direction a bit, because previously we were building like a separate product, and we've done a lot of efforts to actually integrate the team and start bringing more value to the actual like Pinterest business and actual Pinterest product. And I believe it was like a successful decision, and like the team stayed motivated. We made some restructures there. But I would say like it's very important from the day one, understand that now you're not, like VOCHI anymore. You're Pinterest now, like, and you need to think about this business now, and it's your job actual. So I say like when we were able to make this change in the heads of our teammates, we actually started to see like a different like decision-making process, and like we started to work differently. Yeah, but it wasn't so obvious from the very beginning.
Thank you for your answers. And we still have like a couple minutes left, and just one easy, or maybe not so easy question, but let me just ask it and you can say yes or no. If you were starting to build a product right now again, would you consider acquisition deal now, or would you be building it by yourself? Like something completely new? Yes or no? That can be just easy.
Yeah, I mean, acquisition is always nice. It really depends on the stage of the company, on the realistic like expectations of the company. So yeah, I mean, why not? It's a good way.
I would say I would follow like the path we followed before. I would never start like aiming into acquisition as the only goal. So I love building products for users. Like I love building products which bring value, and I would set like this as the first goal. And I like building like profitable products, but at the same time, I will never not consider acquisition as a potential scenario, because like it's a good scenario, as Greg said. And you also need to keep this in mind from the very beginning, to be sure that if you will need to release this scenario, you will be ready and you will understand like how to move forward, and your company will be prepared for this. So yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Now we have this important thing that we promised to our audience to do. We need to choose from these 3 questions the one that you guys love the most, and we will give this persons the free ticket to Emerge in Turkey this October. Let me know which one did you like? Did you find more the most practical or the most easy to answer? You can choose. Each of you can choose different, so you don't need to be have a mutual decision on this one.
Yeah, I like the question about the. I think there was a second one about integration phase into the big tech company after the acquisition.
Yeah, I would agree here, but if I need to choose a different one,
No, you don't.
oh.
It's up to you. It's up to you. If you really like that one, we can leave just one winner, and he will feel the full gratitude.
I say like it's not an obvious question, you know, but at the same time, it's something that you face after you have like this big event. So yeah, I also was very happy to answer this question.
Perfect. So we have a winner here, and I need to make some small important announcement. For those who didn't get a free ticket, you shouldn't be upset because we have more live streams coming in August and September, and you can check upcoming events and topics at our website at emergeconf.io. And if you're already ready to try them yourselves in pitch competitions as Emerge Challenge for everyone who was participating in this live stream, we're giving a special discount of 20% for startups tickets, and you will get the promo code in your emails, and you will be it will be available to use till August 4th, till the end of the week. And of course, don't forget to sign up for our next live streams, our social media, and our newsletters. And if you want to share your thoughts and ideas with us, how to make this format better, please fill in the feedback form that we will send to you. And of course, I would like to thank my guests, Greg and Anna, for sharing their time and expertise and experience with us. I'm sure everyone got some useful information. I know that I did. And thank you so much for being with us today. Hope to see you next time at Emerge in Turkey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.